Commanders family, another special episode of Next Man Up for you. We got C-Rod, Chris Rodriguez, coming off of his huge game against the Tennessee Titans. We talk about how he's been able to stay locked in through all the ups and downs this season has brought to him. Then we have a special legend joining the show. Former Redskins fullback Mike Sellers joins the show to talk about his devastating heart transplant and how he's been able to bounce back and continue to get back to the game he loves so much. All that and more on Next Man Up. Commanders family, for our Next Man Up, it's somebody that's very familiar with being the next man up, our running back, Chris Rodriguez, brother. Always good to see you, man.
Yes, sir. Likewise.
Yes, sir,
yes,
man.
Sir.
Thank you, bro. It's crazy because last time we spoke, you was a rookie. And a lot has changed for you since then. But the most important thing, you're married now, man. You got you a wife, you are a husband, man. How has that been?
It's good, man. I mean, for people that don't know, me and my girl been together for almost 11 years now.
Wow.
So
that's high school.
Yeah, it's high school, but we was really together in 5th grade, off and on, like, for the longest time.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so, I mean, my second year of college, when we started to get back together, it was like, it feels like we've been married since then. So, it was just another thing just to tie the knot for real. So,
wow. How'd you guys end up going to college together and all that stuff? Was that just like random, or did y'all like kind of have that plan?
No, so we just went to the same high school. That was really it. Elementary through high school, went to the same school. And then when I went off to college, she, at the end of high school, she was like, go do your thing. Yeah. So we kind of, fell off for a little bit. And then my sophomore year at Kentucky, she was like, like, what are you doing? We just catching up. Yeah. And then she came up for like a weekend. Then she came up for a week. Then it was a month. And I was like, all right, just stay. So then we ended up staying with each other. So I think we've been staying with each other for about 5-6 years now, I think. Maybe longer than that.
Wow, man. And that's your best friend, man.
Best
that's your
friend.
Partner right here,
best
man.
Friend, ride or die.
How valuable is it to have her here with you through all the things you've been through these past few years, man? Even the things you were going through in college. I know last time we talked about the different obstacles you had to conquer. How has she been able to help you get through those things?
Man, she's tremendous, man. Like, when I go through things, she understands me. Some people are different. They act different ways. But me, when I am going through stuff, the way I cope with things is I kind of just, want to be left alone for a minute. And I had a real bad problem of not talking about stuff, which a lot of men do. But she encouraged me to, start talking about things. And when I was going through things, especially here, like, she was like, all right, you know what? We're going to talk about it, but when we're done, we're done. It's over with. And, stuff like that just helps a lot. It helps ease the mind. And then, when I did actually get cut before the Cowboys game, we talked about it, then we left it alone. And then, whenever they did call me back to come back up here, she was like, just know this is what you've been waiting for.
When you go through those things, man, because you weren't just cut once. You were cut a couple times, man. Yep. You've gone up and down from active to practice squad to not even on the roster, man. With all that inconsistency you're dealing with, bro, you've managed to stay consistent. How have you stayed locked in?
I mean, I have a goal, and my goal isn't to just be like an average player. I want to be great, So when I think about that and think about who I am as a person, when my number's called, I'm not just going to go out there and, just be inconsistent. Like, it just don't run in my blood, So whenever my number is called, it's like, all right, you got to go out there and give it your all.
And it's easy during those times to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
To not be positive, to be like, dang, is this it for me? Because that last cut could be the last cut.
It can be.
You know what I mean? There's no promise that you're going to get called back to anywhere. How do you stay positive through that? And has it been tough to stay positive and believe in yourself during, so much ups and downs?
Yeah. Man, obviously it was tough, but at the same time, I knew it wasn't the last time I was going to be on a team. I felt like growing up, my dad instilled in me like, hey, like, you've worked so hard, don't go out there and just give up.
Yeah.
So when I go out there, it's like, all right, don't give up. And when I did get cut again, like, I just knew it wasn't going to be the end of C-Rod,
Yeah. Yeah, and a lot of people focus on like when somebody gets cut, the negative of that, right? But you not only been cut, but you've been brought back.
Yeah.
So to me, that shows a positivity from the coaching staff that says, you know what, we believe in this guy. Because there's plenty of running backs they can go get. There's plenty of different guys they can come bring in, but they keep relying on you. What does that mean to you, man, when this coaching staff and this ownership says, you know what, C-Rod, listen, man, we don't have room for you right now, but we want to keep you close. We want to bring you back.
Yeah, man, it means a lot. And that's one of the things that I did notice when I did have that meeting with DQ and AP. You know, they did say, you know, we hate to do it, you know, but it's just, you know, it's the way that, you know, things fell in line. But listen, we love you. We would love to have you back here on practice squad. We think you're a tremendous athlete. We like everything you do here. So when that time came, I knew that those coaches still believed in me. And then after the, I think it was a New York game where they told me like, hey, like you're going to be dressing, you're going to be playing. I was like, man, it was a decent game for me. And I told them like, hey, I appreciate you guys. You know, you guys believing in me helped me believe in myself.
And you mentioned that New York game because that's when you really got a chance to play. I think you had over 50 yards that game.
Yes.
You played really well, but then again, you get cut afterwards for that.
I did.
During that time, though, when you had that New York game, did you think you had done enough to stay on the roster?
Honestly, I didn't know. I felt like I did, but always in the back of my head, I feel like there's just a little bit more I could have done. You know, when I, like, for instance, like it was 3rd and I think 1 on the 2-yard line, and they did give me the green light to go and score, and I didn't score. I was like, oh, well, if I did score, would that have changed their mind? Or maybe if I would have made a different cut or a different read or, you know, just little stuff. But at that time, like, you know, I'm just like, oh, I'm excited. I got to win. I got to play. I got 50 yards. But at the same time, it's like, okay, we still got work to do.
So instead of being complacent, instead of feeling bad for yourself, you say, you know what, these are the things that I could self-reflect on and use this time to get better as a player.
Exactly.
Yes,
and then that goes into I don't know if you were going to go into the Cowboys game.
Yeah.
Where I did, I'm like, okay, the things that I didn't do well against the Giants, how can I do it better? And I felt like I showcased that a little bit, but like, again, man, never complacent, still got work to do.
Yes, sir. And then, man, we talking about these games, let's go down the timeline. Now we're coming off of a huge game for you, man. Touchdown. I think 13 carries, 95 yards, man. Strong outing, strong game. When the team really actually needed you. Yeah, we were in the lead. However, we need, you know, we're down some people, man, and we need somebody to come in and step up. And you did that.
Yes, sir.
I gotta feel like now watching that, man. I mean, I remember actually watching in real time, man, because you know, man, I love rooting for you.
Yes, sir.
I said, oh no, they ain't gonna be able to cut him again.
Yeah,
ain't no way. Do you feel like you've done enough now to solidify your position on this team?
Yeah, I do. I feel like that. But again, man, it's always that thought in the back of my head, like it's happened before. So obviously I got a good chance this week coming up, and hopefully I get a lot of carries and a lot of play time to showcase what I can do. Because man, we still getting better. So,
yes, sir.
So we're gonna go out there and hopefully, you know, showcase that.
And C-Rod, all the things you have been through, man. You get to that Tennessee game and do what you do out there, man. How special was that for you, bro?
Man, it was special. That was a really special game for me, especially, man. I mean, coming off that, getting cut. But it was really special, man. I had my wife and my best friend in the stands, and, you know, we talked about it. It's like, man, like, I don't want to feel that feeling no more, you know. And my wife always sends me, like, you know, good luck text or whatever, but she sent the text, man. It almost got emotional while reading it. You know, it was like, hey, just when you get in the end zone, just know you're meeting your mom there. And that thing, man, I swear, I just knew I had to go give it my all. But, man, it was real special for me. And it made it feel even more special that, you know, my teammates were happy around me. Yeah. You know, a lot of people were like, Chris, like, you seem so excited when you score. Nah, look around, man. My teammates were so excited for me. Everybody on the sideline, like, I got yelled at by Coach. He was like, hey, you doing all that dapping up. Come over here. We got to go through these corrections.
Yes, sir.
So, man, it was a really exciting game.
Man, and you think of these moments you've had this year, man. You're getting married, bro. You're really establishing yourself on this team. You have this brotherhood, not only just coaches, but all the players that want to see you shine and do well, man. How happy would your mom be for you right now?
Man,
bro?
She would be so happy. And the crazy part, man, like, my mom, if she was here, she'd probably be living with me right now, be at every game. She'd probably be driving the fans nuts because she swears up and down that I was the best player in the world, her and my sister. But, man, I know she would be proud. And, every day that I go through life, I just hope that I keep making her proud.
And you're definitely making her proud, man. You're making all of us proud, man. It's been so much fun to watch you, especially like being a part of such a special running back room, man. What a really good rushing team. And you have a lot to do with that, but so do your OGs, man. You get to play with Austin Eckler, Brian Robinson Jr., even McNichols, man. What have you gotten from being in that running back room?
Man, it's a lot of knowledge in that room, as far as like B-Rob, I was in college the same time as B-Rob for a couple years. I remember he actually had us over at his house, and I seen he had this trophy. It said first team all SEC. So he made first team, and I made second team. And I used to hate him. I was, man. I was like, man, I should have been first team. And then, you get to meet him, and you're like, oh, man, B-Rob's actually like a really good dude, man. And, he's smart. A lot of people don't see it, but B-Rob really knows what's going on. Like, he was coaching me up today on the blitz pickup, and I'm like, bro, how do you know? Just from sitting back here. And as far as J-Mac and Austin, man, I watched growing. Everybody watch Austin, everybody, So Austin, I used to play with him on Madden a lot, and then I got to finally meet him. And then, Austin, he is really smart. Like, he's like one of those dudes, he's not even just about football, but outside of football. But inside of football, like, you see him, he always has his iPad. He's always writing down plays. And he actually kept me in practice one time. And he was like, hey, like, I don't know if I'm in practice today, so hey, make sure you're locked in on all these reps. So I'm locked in. I'm like, all right, I'm about to go in there. I need to know all the reps. I didn't get in, but at the same time, I was locked in. I told him, like, yo, I appreciate that. And then for J-Mac, man, obviously, he's been cut a few times and whatever. And when I did get my opportunity, he came up to me before the game and was like, yo, like, stop stressing. You good, man. Go out there and play your game. And I got a lot of respect for him for that, man, because I was nervous. I was too nervous. For the New York game, actually, I was too nervous out there. But, he came up to me and was like, just chill out, man. Go play your game.
Man, that's beautiful to hear, man, because it's like you can see, like, through all positions on this team, there's a brotherhood there. And I know a lot of that starts with this coaching staff. And you're really lucky, man, because Anthony Lynn, man, that's a former head coach.
Yeah.
Now he gets to work with you guys and help mold you guys. What's it been like being coached under Anthony?
Man, Coach Lynn, man, he, he's one of those coaches, if he coaches one, he coaches all, And, I didn't realize that at first, especially, like, I don't want to compare it to last year. But last year, if I didn't get a rep, I was like, oh, I get it in the game. And I'm like, I ain't did this, so what do I got? Now it's different. Now if I don't get a rep, I'm like, all right, I know what I still know what I got. He knows it too. Like, if he sees us not doing anything, he's like, hey, go back there with the quarterbacks and go get these reps. And man, he's still, man, he's one of my favorite coaches that I've had, in a long time. He coaches us hard, but he also prepares us, for outside of work. Like, he asks us questions like every now and then, like, what are you grateful for? What are you passionate about, outside of football? And he kind of hit me off guard one time asking me that, and I was like, whoa. But, we had that talk, and when I first got here, I told him about the situation with my mom's, and, we got to talking a little bit. But, man, I really respect that guy, man. He knows what he's doing.
Man, he's one of my favorite people in this building because he does give those, like, just OG uncle vibes, man.
Yeah.
Where he going to talk to you, and he might not say too much, but when he says it, man, you going to really feel it. It's going to really make an impact, man.
Exactly.
So it's been great seeing what he's been able to do with y'all, man, and I appreciate your time, brother.
Yes, sir.
Before I let you go,
you.
man, we coming off the bye week. We got the Saints. We're going to be in NOLA, man. You're coming off of a huge game. C-Rock, what can fans expect not only from you, but these Commanders this Sunday? Man,
from us, we're, like you said, we're coming off a bye week. And a lot of people are expecting us to, still be getting our legs up under us. Nah, it ain't that. We came back. DQ put us in the right position to go out there and play hard. So you can expect us to go out there and play hard. From the backs, we're gonna go out there and do what we need to do. But at the same time, we're gonna go out there and stay focused, get the job done.
C-Rob, man, I appreciate you always, man. We can sit here and talk forever,
yes, sir.
Man. It's always a great time, bro. And just know, man, I'm out here rooting for you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Man. Every time you
it.
do well, you see me as soon as the game over, bro.
Yeah.
I'm always so happy for you, man. I can't wait to see you continue
yes,
to be successful, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Commanders family, our next man up. You're going to be hearing his name a lot more in the future. I got a feeling. Chris Rodriguez, brother, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Commanders family, for our next man up, we have somebody extremely special. Former Redskin, has one of the more incredible paths to the NFL that I've ever heard. Former fullback for the Redskins, Mike Sellis. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Highly favored, brother.
Amen to that, amen to that, man. We appreciate your time, man, and let's get right into it because I mentioned that path that you had, man. You were 18 years old when you started playing professional football for the CFL, the youngest to this day still to ever play in the CFL, man. Tell us how that happened. Give us that backstory.
Well, obviously I was a decent athlete in high school, but I never took my SATs, so I never really had anybody on me to take my SATs. So I waited till the last day, showed up late, and they wouldn't let me in. So I went and played JUCO for the first quarter, and then right after JUCO, went straight to Canada.
Dang, man, what was that journey like? When you're a JUCO kid, you definitely have the skill set to be in the league, to be in a high college, but then you go to the CFL. What makes you make that decision? Because again, that's not something that was done by others before, especially your age. What went into that?
I was built different, man. I came out of high school, I was 6'3", 250, running a 4.5 40. Not afraid to hit nobody. Um, Athletic as I could possibly be. My arrogance, to be honest, it kind of helped me out. Knowing that I was like, ain't nobody gonna beat me, can't nobody take me. Let's make that jump.
And what was it like when you made that jump? You're 18 years old, you're going to a whole new country, you're a professional athlete now. What was that like for a young 18-year-old Mike?
Being in a different country, being that young, it was different. I tell you that. It was more of my mom worried about me than anything, dealing with the phone calls every day, being so young, and being in a different country where you can actually drink. That was a little different. But other than that, man, the mindset was there. I was like, I'm going to win me a position, and it worked out.
So was the goal just to make a position and make a name for yourself out in the CFL? Or did you go to the CFL knowing, hey, this would be a way for me to actually get to the NFL?
It was my stepping stone. I knew where I wanted to be. I knew where I should be. It was just a matter of me taking a different path to get there. So, they wouldn't hold me back. Like I said, I was self-assured. I knew what I could do. Just had to put it on film, and that's what I did.
So you're out there in Canada, and then you do good enough you do get that call. You do get that call from the NFL. The Redskins call you, say they want to bring you in. What was that moment like? You take a chance on yourself. You take a gamble on yourself. Probably a lot of people telling you that this probably isn't the best route to take, but you do it anyway with that self-confidence. What was that phone call like when you were like, oh, man, I'm going back to America?
Man, that's all I ever wanted to do was play football. So, especially at the highest level. And I've kicked, bite, and scratched to get to where I was at, and there was nothing going to stop me. And like I said, I had to put the film out there to show people I could do it. And, 3 years up in Canada, and next day, I'm playing with the Skins and getting that phone call from them. Man, that's just a blessing. I had the opportunity to go other places, but something just kept telling me, DC is the spot for me to be. And, because 12 years later, here I am playing with the Redskins. So.
And you said it's what you always wanted to do. So I want to kind of run it back a little bit because you said football is what you've always wanted. Where did that come from? Where did your love for the game come from?
I've been playing football since I was 4. Never missed a year.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's just it's built in me. No one ever made me play football. It's something I chose to do. No one really put me to the side and actually taught me the sport. Besides dealing with my little league coaches, I did all the film work. I studied up on what I needed to learn. I just knew that it's either that or going to the military. So my dad was retired military, so I knew that. I knew that very well. So it was either one, either military or NFL, one of the two.
For a lot of times you growing up a military brat, that's really it. It's like college, career, or military. It's like no in between there, man. So I definitely understand. If I wasn't doing this now, my dad told me the same thing, bro. You will be in the military. So I completely get it. I understand, man. So you get this dream, man. You get that call from the NFL and you go over to the Redskins. But you've already spent a few years in Canada. What was that transition like? What were the differences there?
Oh man, I said it before and I said it again. Speed of the game. You know, there's a lot of people that was fast like me, big like me, bigger than me. You know, faster than me. You know, when you get to the league, everybody big, quick, just physical specimens. You know, and that was an adjustment for me. But like I said, man, my arrogance about the game and how good I knew I was, that wasn't gonna stop me, man. You know, I'm gonna hit you. I don't care who you are. You're gonna get hit, and that's one way I made a name for myself on it. You know, getting to that squad was, hey, when it came down to training camp, you know, hey, it was gonna be a battle, and I made a shirt, let it be known that I was coming downhill on you.
And it had to have been so tough because the name of the game, especially like when you first come to a team, is making a name for yourself. And, you know, there's total polls, right? You're a #1 draft pick or you're a 7th-round pick. There's different ways that you're going to fall into that depth chart when you get in. But then you're somebody coming from Canada. You might be even lower on the totem pole than even that 7th-round pick, man. How did you come in and make a name for yourself when you first got to the Redskins?
Man, just grinded. You know, every day. You know, just I was grateful to come to practice. I was always happy to be at practice. You know, on people's worst days was my greatest day. You know, like I just knew every opportunity that I had was right in front of me, and I had to make sure I took advantage of it every single day. And you know, studying, playbook, all that stuff in the weight room. They had to kick me out the weight room because I mean, I was a nut in the weight room. I mean, I knew that was going to keep me healthy and have a long career, which it did. And you know, I just grinded.
And that's really the story of your career, right? Just grinding and self-belief. Because even when you come to the NFL for that first time, you have your stint, but then you go to Cleveland and then you get cut and then the NFL's done. That dream might be over at that point. It wasn't for you, but in that moment, did you feel like, okay, after you got cut by Cleveland, that your NFL dreams might be done?
You know, for a brief moment, and then I just, you know, had to regroup, check myself, tighten myself up, and you know, just get back on that grind again. And you know, the second time around, I got a second chance, man. I'm blessed for that. You know, the guys in the front office knew who I was and what kind of cat I was, and they knew I wasn't a bad dude. And you know, they brought me back, and I made the best of it coming back my second time around.
And you said you had that little stint. You had that moment, though, where you're like, dang, this might be it, but you got yourself out of that. You can't do that alone, right? Nobody does this journey alone. Nobody goes through these ebbs and flows alone. Who and what helped you get through that small part where you kind of question, hey, man, am I done?
Oh man, it was me. I won't lie.
Really?
I had to do a self check.
Wow.
You know, because I don't listen to nobody but me. Ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. Because what I've done my whole life has got me where I was at. I've been dealing with doubters. I've been dealing with all kinds of people telling me I can't, I couldn't, and I shouldn't, and I made it. So you know, all the people said I had messed up, this, and that. I just smiled in their face and be like, I'll be back.
And you were back. But before you got back to the Redskins, you went back to the CFL. Was there any reluctancy leaving the NFL again to go back to the CFL, or you're just like, yo, whatever it takes, I'm gonna make it happen?
Man, I'm playing football for one. I'm playing football. I'm doing what I do best. And like I said, you know, when you put good film out there constantly on an everyday basis, somebody's gonna see you. And luckily, like I said, you know, the people from Skins, the front office, they knew I was a good dude, man. You know, just you know, people make mistakes. You know that doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person, but you know, you learn from your mistakes. And I had, and they gave me a second chance. And the best thing about it was when I came back, Joe Gibbs put me to the side, and he's like, "Look, Mike, I don't care what you did before. I need you now, and I need to know that I can count on you." coming from Joe Gibbs, man, that you know, that's all you need to say. You know, so ever since then, man, I was on the straight and narrow, doing what I had to do, being that leader, and just try to win for the Skins. You know.
And not everybody's receptive to those kind of moments, right? Where somebody pulls you to the side and just has a real man-to-man conversation with you. But he clearly did that because he believed in you, man. How much did that belief from a coach like Joe Gibbs mean to you at that time?
Um, leaps and bounds. I mean, to this day, me and that man have a great relationship. And when I was in the hospital, he called me, gave me a shout out on video, just stuff like that. And I mean, called me out the blue, just say, "Mate, how you doing? Just want to check on you. Ain't talked to you in a while." So, I love that, man. I'd have ran through a brick wall for him over and over again without a question.
And you ran through a few brick walls for him, man, because you come back and then it's crazy. You have this journey, but then you come back and you're not only successful, but you end up being one of the best to do what you do. You end up making the Pro Bowl, man. How amazing was that, man, when you found out you were going to be a Pro Bowl fullback? Not only a Pro Bowl fullback, but a starter. What was that like after everything Mike Silas had been through to this point?
The most frustrating part about it was I was a 7-time first alternate.
Wow, 7?
Behind all people, all star.
That's a tough
So,
lie to be behind.
So I mean, to finally get that nod, man, it's just my trials and tribulations, the hard work that I've been, I put in, and man, that never give up attitude, and just I knew where I should be. I knew, and it was just a matter of time for me to get there. So that just kept, like I said, hey, grind, grind, and grind. That's what I did, and finally somebody noticed.
Mm. And Mike, as I read your story, preparing for this interview, and even as I talk to you and hear you talking right now, the grind, the belief, and just a fighter, a true warrior, has been your whole story. So it's wild to think that you go through all of these things, but then your toughest battle is after the NFL when you have to have a heart transplant. Now, can you tell us what happened? Like, what made you when did you find out you needed a heart transplant? What was wrong? What was going on? Can you just tell us that story a little bit?
Well, forgive me for one if I get a little emotional.
It's okay, man. Hey, listen, you get out whatever you need to get out, man.
Whew. It was a long road. To be the health nut that I was, always in the gym, always eating right, always doing the right things to make sure my body was okay, especially after retirement. To find out my heart was failing, that's I don't care what kind of man you are. That's a blow. You know, I can conquer many things, but I put it in God's hands. To take care of me and look out for me. It's a blessing, I tell you that, because there was a few times, even the nurses told me when I came to after I was out of a coma. First of all, I flatlined twice, um, and when I came to, the nurses were like, "There were times, Mike, we didn't think you were going to make it." And to be where I'm at right now, I'm at work. I'm in one of the meeting rooms right now, and to be back coaching and to see my kids and the reception I got when I came back. I came back 2 months after my heart transplant. My wife wasn't too happy about that, but you know, I had to get back, man, because I had been blessed so much in life. I just bless the kids that I'm with now. Give them the knowledge I have, you know, and the desire to succeed like I have. It's been a long road, man, but I'm back. I'm about 85, 90%. Still got a ways to go. Dude, I went in the hospital. I was 310 pounds solid, and came out the hospital 230 pounds in a matter of 4 months. Yeah. So I mean, I had to learn how to walk. I had to learn how to feed myself again. For somebody who's been so dominant through my whole life, and to be, in a sense, helpless. You got to take pride at the door. You know what I mean? And accept all the help you can get.
But that couldn't have been easy for you because you said it earlier when we were talking. You said you do things on your own. Nobody could check you. Nobody could tell you what to do. You do things the way you want to do it. But now you're in a position where you're completely vulnerable, where you can't take care of yourself, where you have to lean on others. How tough was that for somebody like you that's so used to being independent and just being, like you said, this big, strong man, and now you need help from others?
Man, I got the I got the best wife on the planet, and she was my support system. Um, she was there every day at the hospital with me. Didn't miss a day. Quit her job just so she can be with me. Uh, Fed me, cleaned me, um, assisted me to go to the bathroom. I mean, she was there every step of the way, and I'm fortunate that I got that woman in my corner.
We all feel fortunate that she's there for you, man. I mean, I feel fortunate just being able to sit and talk to you today, man. You look great. You sound great. And I appreciate the vulnerability because I know these conversations aren't always easy, but there's people going through the same thing that you went through. There's people that are in it right now and that are like feeling, man, I might not ever get through this. I might not be able to make it. But somebody like you and your testimony and your honesty and your courage, people could look at that and say, okay, if Mike can do it, I can do it, man. So I really do appreciate you like talking about this because again, it's something that happens to a lot of people. And you could be the healthiest, strongest man, just like yourself, right? And still go through these things, man. And I know the transplant process isn't an easy process. How long did it take for you to find that donor, to find that person to be able to help you out, man? What was that process like? Because again, I'm sure there's plenty of other people going through that same thing in real time.
Man, I had to earn my heart in a sense, man. Just the physical therapy stuff I was doing, I was going above and beyond. You know, I had to show them that I wanted and I deserved it, and just never give up attitude, man. Doing what I had to do. If I didn't feel like getting up to go walk, I had to go walk. If I had to go, whatever they wanted me to do, I did it. And so I ended up. They ended up. I worked so hard. They moved me up to the top of the transplant list. From a guy that just came in the hospital, you know, they moved me up to the top because they seen how dedicated and how hard I worked. And it took me 9 days once they put me on the transplant list. It took me 9 days to find my heart. Yeah.
And during, you said you were in a coma. Was
Yeah.
that during the process of getting the transplant, or did that happen before when they found out you needed it?
Well, I was in the hospital from the beginning of January to the end of May,
And this is of
and they were trying to.
2024? This is of this year?
Excuse me.
Is that of this
Yeah,
year or last year?
yeah, this year, this year.
This year.
So, you know, they were trying to find every way to not have me have a transplant. I mean, I had impellers put in me. I've had every type of mechanical device put in me you could possibly think of to save my heart, so I didn't have to have it. And they got to the point where it took a turn, and you know, they had to put me under. And I think I was in a coma for 19 days, something like that. And
Man, bro. Man. You said you have the coma. You said you flatlined a few times. Are you aware of any of this while you're going through it? Or is this just something you wake up one day and people tell you all of this happened? Did you have any awareness through all of this?
um, I don't remember most of my time at the hospital. I really don't. And I mean, they had me all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was bad. It was worse for my wife because she seen the decline in me when I couldn't tell. You know, she seen all the stuff I was going through when I was asleep. I went through a bout of delirium where, I mean, I thought people were trying to attack me, and I mean, I was swinging on nurses. It was bad. I mean, and when I came to, and I was cognizant of what was going around me, and I started when I was feeling better. My wife would tell me some of the stuff that has happened, and I just it was a time where I broke down and cried because that's not the type of person I am. I was swinging on lady nurses, but I didn't know. To me, I thought I was being robbed. I mean, I had no clue. So, but yeah, it's been crazy, bro. It's been crazy. It's been crazy.
Well, Mike, I do hope you give yourself grace through all of this, man, because I mean, clearly you weren't yourself, and clearly you were going through things that, I mean, a lot of people wouldn't even be able to make it through. So you're just out there fighting and battling, man. So I do hope you give yourself grace in that. I know it's tough as a man when you hear things like that, especially because that's so out of your character, especially growing up military. I already know you probably grew up just like how I grew up. That kind of stuff don't fly. So like, man, I hope you do give yourself grace because, you're just going through this, man. And nobody has a blueprint for how to get through that kind of stuff. But somehow you found a way to get through, man. You get your heart transplant. You're in the hospital for months, but then you get out. What was that part like for you, Mike? When you're hearing these things, now you're hearing what you've been through, but now you're part of that recovery. What was that part like for you, man? How tough was that? Or was it something where you were just grateful to just have another day on this earth?
Um, all the above. I mean, first and foremost, man, my kids, my wife, you know, I live for them, and the thought process of me not being around to raise my kids and take care of my wife, man, it's something I just couldn't fathom, and, now I get a chance to help people out, my speak on it. I actually got two teammates, I won't say their names, but they're going through some issues and they know what I've been through and they've called on me to ask what to expect and what should I do, how you doing this, Mike, what helped you get through. And I'm just a sounding board, man. If I could reach out and touch anybody to help them, to talk them through things or whatever, man, that's what I'm trying to do. Just trying to let people know, man, go get checked out. Because, like I said, I was the healthiest dude after playing football, and for this to happen, it can happen to anybody, so I'm grateful, man. I say my blessings every morning. I get a chance to wake up because every day is not given, So for me to wake up every day, I'm thankful. And, this life itself, things that go on in life, man. I pay attention to things a lot more. I see things a lot more. Stuff I never paid attention to before. I notice things. And I'm just grateful, man. I'm a different person now than I ever been. Just I got more patience. Life's too short. Don't pass things by too fast. Take time and just kick back and observe and see things. And that's all I've been doing, man. Just getting healthy. My wife's been taking care of me, feeding me good food, getting me back healthy again, gaining my weight back,
Yes, sir.
and being around these kids. I work at one of the best schools in the world. Period, hands down. I mean, can't nobody even argue with that. And I get to coach some of the best high school athletes in the nation. So coming back to work was a big healing factor for me, man. Just to come back and get these kids where they want to go and help them earn their goals and achieve everything that they want to achieve in life, man. That's my blessing.
Amen, Mike, man. That is great, man. And your story is a blessing because, again, your story alone and your testimony could help so many people going through the same thing. To see somebody like you that they've probably looked up to since they was younger going through the same things, man, I'm sure it means a lot. I'm sure your former teammates, as you mentioned, it means a lot to them hearing from you. And now you're good, man. Now you're back healthy. Like you said, you're coaching now, man. And where are you coaching at right now? You said you're at the best school. What was the name of it?
I'm at IMG down in Florida.
Oh, man. Oh, so you living that good life.
Hey, we don't want for much down here, man. We got everything we need. We just trying to win national championships, you dig?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we love that. And Mike, as you mentioned, you talked about people going to get checked out and that early detection. How did you find out that you were going to have these heart problems? How did you detect that?
I was tired. I didn't have energy to go to the gym. I just, something just didn't feel right. I couldn't go to sleep. When I closed my eyes, I got like this dizzy sensation. Like I had to sleep sitting up. And then just some weird stuff was just happening to me. And, I don't ever go to the hospital. My wife would tell you, you got to tie me to the bump of the car to get me to go to the hospital. And there was just one day I just looked at her and I said, I need to go to the hospital. My wife looked at me like I was crazy. Like, oh, wait a minute. He's saying he need to go to the hospital. Something really going on. So, and thank God I did, because, I would have never known. I would have never known. And they told me I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't. They said, Mike, if you hadn't stayed in the shape that you were in, you would have been dead. Through the grace of God, man, I'm still here. I'm still moving. I'm still coaching. I'm still doing everything just just through God's grace, man. I'm still moving, still getting on these kids' nerves.
Man, God is so good. And I think it's just a testimony to your job's not finished here. You still got work to do, man. You go through all of those things, flatline multiple times, man, a coma, the worst things, a lot of things that people would never be able to get through, but you're still here, man, and you're still affecting lives, Mike. So thank you so much, man, for taking the time to come and talk to us on Next Man Up, man. Your story is so powerful and so impactful. And I hope you know the amount of love and admiration you have here in the DMV from your burgundy and gold family, man. You were a Redskin, one of the best at your position, and we just appreciate you and love you, man. We hope you come back to the DMV. Hope you catch a game before the season's over, man, and just be around these folks, because I'm telling you, man, the DMV loves you so much, and we're just so happy that you're back and healthy. And brother, let me tell you, man, I ain't blowing smoke. You look good, brother. You look good, man. So like, if you wouldn't have told me what you had been through, you do not look like what you have been through, man, and that's a blessing in itself, man. So thank you, Mike.
Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir, man. We'll have to have you back on, man. Have to have you pull up to the studio, Mike. And good luck for the rest of this season with your squad, bro.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Commanders family, our next man up, the amazing, the honorable Mike Sellers. Thank you, brother. Commanders family, we hope you've enjoyed this special episode of Next Man Up. If you want to catch our old episodes of Next Man Up, you can on the Commanders YouTube page, or you can stream the audio wherever you get your podcast. I am Brian Cober Jr., and this is the Next Man Up podcast. I'll catch y'all next Friday.